What's the starting time? It's 7:04, so 7:34. Boom, we out.
All right, we're live.
All right, shalom, shalom. And all praise to Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. All right, so a little road through the spirit, we're gonna I guess kind of pick up from last week a little bit with Revelation the 6th chapter, so we could go into that, the whole thing. So
speak loud so everybody can hear you.
Fine. So whenever y'all brothers want to chime in, go ahead. So
Can everybody hear him?
All right, this is Revelation 6, verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it were the noise of thunder.
Right, now the Lamb is talking about Yahweh Shah. How we know that? You could go to Revelation the 5th chapter, in the 5th verse, go to 5 and 5.
Revelation 5 and 5. It says, and one of the elders said unto me, weep not, behold, the Lion of the tribe of Judah,
Just talking about Yahweh Shah, all right, got it.
the root of David, has,
You read Matthew's 1st chapter to give you the genealogy of Yahweh Shah, all right, got it.
has,
I believe it was 42 generations, but go ahead.
has prevailed to open the book and to loose the 7 seals
Right,
thereof.
so Yahweh Shah being worthy, that Lamb worthy to be slain to loose the 7 seals, but the 7 seals represent the complete understanding of the scriptures. And that's how we're able to understand what's being broken down. That's how we're able to receive the Holy Spirit. And that's why the angels were up in heaven weeping, because this understanding was sealed. And like it's saying Matthew the 6th chapter, that will be done on on earth as it is in heaven. So the angels are going to rejoice with for this, man. So we in a time of rejoicing. Yahweh Shah looses 7 seals. That's how we're able to receive this to be saved. Go ahead. That was it, right? All right, go back.
I'll read it again. Revelation 6 and 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard as it was the noise of thunder, one of the 4 beasts saying, come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse.
Right, now this white horse is not talking about Esau, all right, or the Edomites. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute, according to Sakari,
Yeah.
they said it's talking about who? They talking about the white man.
Yeah. And I see some other bug out say that was Alexander the Great or something like that, but it ain't talking about. It's like, matter of fact, Revelation 19 and 11 real quick. And yeah, Revelation 19 and 11, because Yahweh Shah is that white horse. I watched the Pastor's video. White is not just it's pure. It's purity, all right. And in Revelation, where it says the angel was following him were clothed in white, it's talking about purity. After we shed off these bodies, we're gonna have on white robes, which is talking about immortal bodies, man. Pure bodies, not able to sin anymore. But whoever got Revelation 19.
Revelations 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse. And he that sat upon him was called Faithful and True.
Yahweh Shah, the white horse. Horse represents what? Power. Now, the so-called white man is called faithful and true? Absolutely not. All right, so this is a direct precept to Revelation 6. So read that again. Right, finish it up.
I'll finish it up. Revelations 19 and 11. And I saw heaven open, and behold, a white horse.
Oh, heaven's open. Behold, he comes with clouds. Right, that's the 1st chapter. That's heaven's opening up. Like we say, crack the clouds. Yahweh Shah, what is it also? 2nd Ezra 13. The giant chariot that Ezra seen, or the giant mountain, which was a chariot, which was Yahweh Shah coming in a chariot. Go ahead.
And he that sat upon...
Somebody got their hand up.
No question. We just saw some chariots.
Hey, you don't see the Jubilee for the Queen?
Yeah,
They had the planes go by and all follow me, you know? And the little kid, he looked up, pointed at him. Esau's bothered.
Yeah.
I got a piece of you.
Yeah, bro.
Son of the white. This is Daniel chapter 12 and verse 10. It says, many shall be purified and made white.
Right, that's beautiful. The scriptures tell you that in Psalms 119. How could a man cleanse his ways? By taking heed to the word of Yahweh Shah. That's how we all cleanse. The scriptures say faith cometh by hearing. We all had to hear this in order to believe in the first place, and then we applied, as we went. You know what I'm saying? We didn't know off the rip that this is what it was going to be about, but we learned as we went. And that's part of the fight. You know, we get, that was it, all right. Good. Okay, go ahead, bro. You got it.
Yeah, this is second Ezra chapter 13, verse 2, when it talks about how Yahweh is going to crack the sky.
All right.
It says, and lo, there arose a wind from the sea that had moved all the waves thereof. You know, the sea is talking about what? The heavens, because the heavens is part of the waters as well. So when it talks about all the waves that were moved, it's talking about he's basically moving, you know, coming into our atmosphere, cracking the atmosphere, and just, you're seeing now the ships.
Right. That's right. I guess the chariots up there. Let me not get distracted. All right, finish up, guys.
It says, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war.
Right. Oh, Exodus the 15th chapter. The Lord is a man of war. The Lord is his name. All right. So that's how we know. He ain't talking about Esau, Edom. He don't judge righteousness. Okay. He's a scripture say an unjust balance is an abomination to the Heavenly Father. How we know Esau is unjust with his balance? Look at the Federal Reserve System. Look at the FRNs. Now he coming up with something where he doing something now with high interest rates and somewhat bring down the inflation rate. That's still imbalance, man. Now, if you had gold and silver to begin with, there won't be no need for any of that, man. You know? So Esau is an unjust person, but go ahead, brother.
All right, going back to Revelation 6 and 2. And I saw and behold a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him.
Right. Now, again, Yahweh Shah, because what does the bow represent? We can read that in Job, the 15th chapter real quick, guys. I forget the exact verse. Job 15, about the bow of steel shall strike him through. Because if you got a bow, you obviously got to have an arrow. You can't have one without the other. Esau's not like...
You said Job what?
I think 15th
Job
chapter.
20.
Oh, the 20th chapter?
What's that?
The bow of steel shall strike him through.
Job 20.
Yeah, my bad. Slack it.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yep.
So Job chapter 20, verse 24. It says, straight to the point, he shall flee from the iron weapon,
Yep.
and the bow of steel shall strike him through.
Right, now the whole chapter is beautiful, or like when you read verses above, because it talks about how Esau is going to come into his, reach a pinnacle of his enterprise. When I say pinnacle, the peak that the Most High is going to allow him to get to. And then after that, he's going to be in straits, which is a position of difficulty. Somehow, somewhere, it ain't going to go according to how we thought it would.
What's going to happen when he reaches his peak? What comes is going to happen when he calls us out and reaches his peak?
The implementation of the MOTB. That's the main thing. And that's when the Lord is going to step in. That's why if Esau, you watching right now, we encourage you to come on with it.
Yeah, man.
Come on with it.
Right.
Stop dragging your feet.
Yeah, you like Apostle Boss, stop dragging your feet.
Yeah.
The sooner you do this, it's gonna be ill times out here, but the sooner we will have an everlasting kingdom. So go on with it, man. But yeah, read on.
All right. I'll go back to
You read the bow still shall strike
right.
you through?
I'll go verse 25.
Okay, go ahead.
It says, Job 20:25. It is drawn and cometh out of the body, yea, the glittering sword cometh out of his gown.
Right, and that's talking about the ICBM missile, the glittering sword. I believe even when you look up the word glittering, it goes back to the word barak, which means light. All right, now when the missiles is shot, what's going to cause them to light up? First of all, they're made up of metal, so they're going to pass through the sky. They're going to look glittery, and then on top of that, when they detonate, it's going to leave a bright blast. All right, that's what when you see a flat the nuke go off is a flashbang. It's like a bright explosion. So that's the glittering sword, and it's going to strike them through. So Yahweh Shai, he has the bow, and he's the one that's going to shoot the missiles. Isaiah 54, that the Lord created the smith that blow up the coals of the fire. So go ahead.
They're like Hiroshima.
Hiroshima, that's right. They said the flash was so bright that it left the imprint of people's shadows on the wall.
Permanent shadow, yeah.
And John seen it, he referenced it as stars falling from heaven.
Yup.
You know, he's seen it, the missiles in the sky. He couldn't identify them. The best way he could identify them, he referenced it as stars falling from the skies. Continue on?
Yeah.
All right, back to Revelation 6 and 2. And he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him. And the crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
Right, the crown was given unto him. Where's Yahweh Shai right now? Psalms 110 and verse 1. He's at the right hand of the Father. Yahweh Shai won. He got the victory already. He's just waiting to come here on this earth and establish his kingdom in his dominion and have the elect reign and rule right along with him. So he got the crown. And what Yahweh Shah said in the book of Ezra, that Ezra seen Yahweh Shah crowning the elect. So if Yahweh Shah is going to crown the elect, he already got his crown, man. We just waiting to get crowned too. Sabal got a precept, right?
Hey, because you said Yahweh Shah got control over Esau's his weapons, right?
Right.
It's Ezekiel chapter 39, verse 3. And I will smite thy bow out of thy left hand, and will cause thine arrows to fall out of thine right hand. All right? So when you that Yahweh Shah is gonna make the so-called white man launch those missiles, man. They can keep going having all these meetings and you know, these meetings of peace and trying to denuclearize their weaponry. But Yahweh Shah, he's gonna make it happen. And we already seen cases of it when it almost went down, man. Where a lot of them chariots be hovering over those nuclear facilities and the countdown starts, man. So Esau don't even have power over his own nuclear arsenal, man.
Yeah, the UFO incident, 1952.
Yep.
And the UFO surround. You know about that?
Cut.
Yeah. Huh?
When they went around the White House, right?
Yeah.
And then when the military came, the Air Force, they would disappear. And then when the Air Force leave, the chariots will reappear again. They have photos of it too.
It is.
The angels is messing with Esau, that's all.
Yep.
The angels is just having fun with Esau.
Yeah.
Got a precept?
Ezekiel 38:10. Thus saith the Lord power. It shall also come to pass that at that same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, which is America, and will go to them that are at rest, which are these people in America, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, and have neither bars nor gates. Because in ancient cities they had them gates around, them tall gates around the cities, and pretty much you'd have to speak to the elders before you could even enter the city.
Walls of
America don't got
Jericho.
none of that.
Walls of Jericho.
That's a perfect example. The walls of Jericho, you know, which we see what happened with that, you know. And it says, to take a spoil and to take a prey, and to turn thine hand upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and gold, cattle and goods, and that dwell in the midst of the land. Hey, so that's pretty much going into America's destruction, man.
Now you know what Lahab said? I don't know if you saw Lahab on Elder Lahab. He was on Fobi, right? A couple of weeks ago, and I did a response to it. He said that that's talking about we're gonna be in the kingdom for 1,000. You reading out of Ezekiel?
Yeah,
38. He said that's talking about, and he also went to Revelation 20 verse 7. And he said those two scriptures match each other. He said that we're going to be in the kingdom, right, for 1,000 years, and then Esau's just going to creep back up and take us down again.
Yeah, he loved Esau.
Yeah.
You got a quick precept, right? Yeah.
And some people talking about how the Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the bombs made them.
Speak up so the cameras can
You're
get
talking about the explosion
you.
of
Y'all gotta
Hiroshima.
speak up so the cameras can get you.
You're talking about the explosion with Hiroshima and Nagasaki. It's from Wikipedia. It's called Effects of Nuclear Explosions. Check this out. It says, energy from a nuclear explosion is initially released in several forms of penetrating radiation. When there is surrounding material, such as air, rock, or water, this radiation interacts with and rapidly heats the material to an equilibrium temperature, i.e. so that the matter is at the same temperature as the fuel powering the explosion. So all materials around that nuclear explosion automatically become the same temperature as the fuel. So that's rocks, air, water, even people. The elements go melt with perfect heat.
Melt them, yeah.
I got a precept.
Come on with it, brother.
This is Zephaniah chapter 1 verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near, it is near and hasteth greatly.
Good scripture.
Even the voice of the day of the Lord, Yahweh, the mighty man shall cry there bitterly. Because when Esau, all right, you got China, they develop a hypersonic defense system that's far beyond anything that the United States claimed that they don't have. So therefore, when it said the day of the Lord will come like a thief in the night, like the apostle Gabar and Apostle Tahar said, them hypersonic missiles can't be detected on radar. So what's going to happen is that day of the Lord's going to come. It's going to come upon them, and they're
Well, that
going
was
to
Apostle Tahar that said that.
I watched so many videos of the prophet that, you know.
No, he said that first.
He said, so the body men gonna cry their Billy, Esau's military, and the rest of the military is around the world. They're gonna cry inside their Billy once this shit come upon them. And Vladimir Putin, his defense minister was glowing and filled with pride, saying that they got 4 Satan II missiles, the Psalm Satan II. 2 missiles could take out the whole West Coast, and another 2 missiles could take out the East Coast, which is combined of 4 missiles that could destroy the whole landmass of America. Damn. And that's some powerful shit there. That's some powerful shit there. Only 4 missiles. I can tell you how Bashim out shot for that, man. Woo! So when someone read it again from the top, let it sink in.
Yeah.
Zephaniah chapter 1, verse 14. The great day of the Lord is near, it is near, and haste of greatly, and that day is coming. That's why the Spirit got on the Apostle Tahar, the point this year, the Lord is hastening, you know, now it was last year, the Lord is turning things up. So this is year the turn up. And it's coming fast, and it's approaching fast, and it's coming with swift destruction. Look what's going on, man. Look at all these nations. You got Iran, they coming up against Israel because they seized that oil tanker. You know, there's a lot of consequences going on in the Middle East, what's going on with Ukraine. So the Most High is putting the Spirit on these nations pursuant to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, the 9th verse, that assembly of great nations to come up against this bitch, to destroy this slut. And that's what's coming down the pike, man. And the mighty men here is going to cry their bitterly. Esau's military and their allies, they're going to cry bitterly, man. Verse 15, that day is a day of wrath, a day of trouble and distress, a day of wasteness and desolation. Then at the Most High said he created the waster to destroy?
Yes, he did.
So here it is. You got the Psalm Satan too. That's a waster. A creation of the Most High's technology, a part of the Lord's army, pursuant to Joel, the 2nd and 3rd chapter, Joel, the 2nd chapter, and the 3rd chapter, man. But it's going into the armies of the Lord, which is the nuclear missile, Joel, the 2nd chapter, man. That's and right. Man, this day is going to be great. Who can abide that day, man?
Right.
Who can withstand the power of Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shah? And it reads, it says, a day of wasteness and desolation, a day of darkness and gloominess, a day of clouds and thick darkness. Them clouds represent them chariots too. This we are seen hovering above us. So, hey man, also them clouds represent them that mushroom cloud that's going to detonate this, you know, that's going to cover the skies, man, and that's going to cover the moon and the stars, man. Amen. So that great day is coming. To match this up with this is Malachi, the 1st chapter, you know, the 4th chapter, the 1st verse on down, man. The day's gonna come. The day's gonna burn like the day shall come like it's gonna burn as an oven. That's right. That's right, bro. Amen. So hey, we looking forward to that day, man. That's right. Stop dragging your ass, Esau. Do what you gotta do. That's it.
That's it.
All right. Good, bro.
Going back to Revelation 6 and 3, it says, and when he had opened the 2nd seal, I heard the 2nd beast say, come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him.
Esau. How we know it's talking about Esau? Genesis 25 real quick. Yeah.
And power was given to him.
Yeah, this is talking about Esau, not the first horse or the first seal that was open. This is talking about Esau, the red horse. Again, horse represents power, and it's going to let you know to further clarify that as Esau. Read it.
Right, it says, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, and that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
Right, now the great sword, Genesis 27. So read 25 first so we can show that Esau is the red horse. To the point, yup.
Genesis 25 and verse 30. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red potted.
Go to 25 and 23 first.
Okay.
First came out red.
Okay, all right. Genesis 25, 23. And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb, and 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
Yeah.
And one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Right. For one, the one people that shall be stronger than the other people is talking about us. We're the Israelites, we're superior. Actually, I was watching Apostle Tah's video. He's mentioning he's going into the bodybuilding. Now with the bodybuilders, you got Esau and then you got Jacob. Why do Esau got to tan himself to look dark skinned? Because we got the superior complexion. By default, most dark skinned men look more chiseled than a light skinned or Edomite person or a red person, huh? You know, so that alone, the melanin is more complex and more superior than Esau's lack of melanin. So by birth, Esau came out inferior to begin with. Esau got an inferior complex. Look at it.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
The elder shall serve the younger.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the point, and the first came out red all over like in hairy garment.
Well, wait a minute now. Isaac is the father of both of them, right? So Isaac is a spiritual Israelite, right? Right? Why not Esau? That's Esau's father is Isaac, which is a Jake, right?
Right.
So why can't Esau be an Israelite?
That's a good point. It's a good
Scripture
point.
said two nations, they'll be separated. The Lord separated them from right there, from that point on.
So the Most High can take the same womb with the father's seed and the mother's womb, and the Most High can put, you get a spirit put in, right? Whatever the seed is, but the Most High said, I'm going to take the seed of the righteous, I'm going to take the seed, the spirit of the righteous, spirit of the wicked, and put it in the seed of Esau and the seed of Jacob. That's how the two separate nations, two different spirits. All right, go ahead.
Sirach 18, I'll start at 1. And he that liveth forever hath created all things in general. The Lord alone is righteous, and there is none other but he, who governeth the world with the palm of his hand, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane. So the Lord separated. He could separate whoever he wants to separate. He made Esau the devil. He made Jake, the Israelites, is the righteous.
Romans 9, we were speaking about that earlier.
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so go ahead and read that. Same lump, same seed. Same lump, same seed.
Romans 9 and 20. No, 21. Have not the potter power over the clay?
Somebody put it on the comment board.
Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor?
Separation.
Yeah, that's it on that.
That's all we need. You got a precept?
This is 2nd Ezra chapter 3, verse 16. It says, and unto him thou gavest Isaac, and unto Isaac also thou gavest Jacob and Esau. As for Jacob, thou didst choose him to thee and put by Esau. So Jacob became a great multitude.
Blame, man.
Revelation 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal.
Did you read the power of the sword?
Yeah, read it again.
All right.
Back to verse 4. And that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword.
Now go to Genesis, the 27th chapter real quick. All right. Blessed with the sword. 38, 39.
Genesis 27 and 37. And Isaac answered and said unto Esau, behold, I have made him the Lord, I have made him thy Lord, and all his brethren have I given unto him for servants, and with corn and wine have I sustained him. And what shall I do now unto thee, my son? And Esau said unto his father, as thou hast but one blessed, my father, bless me, even me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. And by the sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother.
Right. That's the point. With the sword shalt thou live and serve thy brother. Ultimately, Esau is going into captivity, but point is, he lived by the sword. How he got this land? By the sword. All right, by the sword he got this land. And when you read back in Revelation 65, it says they were killing one another. They have power. Esau's all about war. The Most High put the spirit in him to be a bloody man. So, you know, everything he got by the sword, by that wine and by the sword, that philosophy and the sword. His blessings. That's right. Yo, go ahead.
Right, back to Revelation 6 and 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
Right. Now, when you look up the word balance, it goes into zygos, which means yoke. All right, now when you look up yoke, what is a yoke? The scripture saying in Deuteronomy that there'll be a yoke around us. So ultimately that balance represents judgment. And the other part of that scale will be what? The next verse tells you that is going to be, which we got into last week, famine situation. You know, so that's the judgment that the Lord brought via this black horse, so to speak.
Oh yeah, like Belshazzar. When he saw the handwriting on the wall.
Right.
Yeah.
And that very time Babylon fell.
Y'all been keeping up with Sri Lanka? Sri Lanka. Total chaos. The hospitals run out of drugs, pharmaceuticals. They ran out of that, man. The babies can't eat, the babies die, and there's no food. If you can find food, the price is sky high. No gas at all. All right? And what are the people doing? They looking after the government leaders to kill them. So what is that all about?
Trial run.
The trial run for what's going to happen over here.
Yeah.
Why do you think this guy, the king of Babylon currently, why do you think he's, all these mass shootings are going on to get rid of the guns? Because when martial law is declared, because it's going to be so chaotic, people are going to lose it. So when the troops come in there, they don't want to come in there and get shot back at. They want to be assured that they're not going to get shot back at. That's why they're trying to get the buyback program and all that. But the average American, they don't know what the hell's going on. They don't realize that they're going to have to stand on a line to get a microchip. They don't realize that.
Yeah, somebody put a comment to back you up. Great Millstone, Bread 411. In Sri Lanka, they are flipping politicians' cars into the rivers.
Because it's going to be a worldwide event. And like you brought out the word Zugos, yoke. What's going to yoke the people up is their chip. You know, the C to the H to the I to the P.
That's right.
Because that's how you're going to be able to eat. You know?
Because people are going to be at the point where they can't feed their babies, they can't get medicine. But if you take this thing, then everything will go back to normal. So people are going to be beating each other up to get you know, corrected.
That's right. That's going to be the new deal. You know, like you had the New Deal during Roosevelt's time. Then, you know, later on you had other implementation that they did for people to do better. Well, that's going to be the next step, the evolution of things.
And the last step.
And the last step, yeah.
That prophecy kicks off, then we know.
That's it.
That's why the UFOs coming around. They know they're going to pick us up.
That's it. So precept that.
Go ahead.
Yeah, read that again. Right.
It spoke about the balance. The balance in his hand. Yep. This is 1 Samuel 2:3. It said, "Talk no more exceeding proudly, let not the arrogancy come out of your mouth. For the Lord is a power of knowledge, and by him actions are weighed." Showing you that the balance is synonymous with judgment.
That's right.
You know.
Well, the Lord told Belshazzar that you have been weighed, found wanted.
Because that's how you establish balance.
Yeah.
That's equity, making things equal again by bringing forth the true judgment.
We keep telling you people out there, the Most High is a power of balance. Balance is very important to him. No, you got it.
That's what the word iniquity means. Iniquity means like not balance.
Not balance. Check that out.
Yeah, because it's like compounded sin on top of sin on top of sin on top of sin. So if you don't pay for that, then it's not going to be made right. And that's why the scriptures say that these devil's sins have reached up to heaven. And they're about to come take them out.
I got one more. Proverbs 16:2. All the ways.
Oh, Salaki, brother. And that's where the Lord required sacrifice, because sacrifice was the great equalizer for the atonement. And the sacrifice is going to be America.
That's right.
You know? To set everything back in the proper balance.
That's right. Proverbs 16:2. All the ways of a man are clean in his own eyes, but the Lord weigheth the spirits, and he judged them.
Yeah.
Going back to
Okay. Go to the balances, because it also goes into, you know, yoke shavar. This is Deuteronomy 28 and 47. Because thou hast served not the Lord thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart for abundance of all things, which who didn't serve the Lord, the nation of Israel, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. It says, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which the Lord shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, which is what we went through and we're going till today. We go through to our enemies for want of all things. And he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. And that happened, man. We go into slavery. 400 years of slavery, we had the yoke iron on our necks. And basically we've been destroyed because why? We lost our heritage. We lost our nationality.
Right. Yeah, Isaiah 30.
So that was all comprised of the judgment.
Right.
Like, what's that? I said, Surprise 38 and 9 speaks about the teeth of wild beasts.
Yeah, that we gonna get that.
Yeah.
Because that goes right into family. But like the scriptures say in Isaiah 30 and 31, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help. Because that's what Jacob's about to do. 2/3 about to go down to Egypt for help. When they realize they can't eat, they're going down to Esau for help. They don't have no other, even though we giving them the answers, the solution through the Holy Spirit.
And help is the chip.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. Yup.
IUIC, them guys, ISUPK, they all gonna bug out. And they all gonna want to be GMS.
Yup. Somehow, some way, they're gonna try to fit it up in there like they've been teaching it, but that's between them and the Lord.
Maharakah. You saw that on.
Yeah, yup.
Going into the rape thing, man.
Yeah, the grape doctrine.
After how many rape doctrine? after what, 8 years, 9 years?
After the heat is died down.
Right,
we done took all the heat for that. You know, we done been called child molesters, rapists, and now that nobody's really bad-mouthing that, now all of a sudden everybody's an expert.
Yep.
The coast is clear.
You know, I don't mind dealing with the heat.
Yeah. Like Bain said, we were shaped in it. Shaped in it.
Heat builds character.
Heat builds
You
character,
had to take
man.
that heat with the Cornelius thing like over 20 years ago.
Yep, dude, back in the days when we were speaking about martial law, 2009, 2010, speaking about the see today, see that, we would call conspiracy theorists nuts, all kind of crazy shit. But
Well,
now
we like it.
everything's coming out.
We like it. If they start congratulating us, then we know we're doing something wrong. Who's next?
It's Isaiah 31, verse 3. Now the Egyptians are men, and not the Most High, and their horses flesh, and not skirt. When the
We need
Lord,
overtime. We're gonna go 10 more minutes. So 7:46. Yeah. No matter what point you got.
the reason on to say, when the Lord Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping, and he that is hoping shall fall down, and they all shall fail together.
Hand joining hand, wicked shall not be abundant. It's going down.
All right, back to
Go ahead, go ahead.
All right, back to Revelation 6, verse 6. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Now, when you go to measure and penny, last week we did penny, but actual measure is measuring. It'll be equivalent to our quart today, which would be 4 cups or less than 4 cups or less than 4 quarts. So if you take a quart, a measuring quart, put some flour or wheat or whatever you may, put it in there. That's how much that's how much a day's pay will bring in. Which that won't even make a loaf of bread, because I've actually baked before and I had to use 10 cups of flour to get a decent amount of bread. So 4 cups ain't shit. That's probably a hero sandwich or something, depending on how much yeast you use or whatever. But that's like a couple heroes or something. So a measure of wheat for a penny, a day's pay, a denarius back then. Today's pay, you can say whatever because it fluctuates. You may have a personal minimum wage or again decent pay. Let's say $1.60 to $250 or $300. Regardless of what it is, that's how a day's work is gonna allow you to get a loaf of bread or less. So that's the times we're entering it, man.
The word denarius means 10, because the denarius was equivalent to 10 asses. So the penny was equivalent to 10 asses. So with that penny, penny now, well, it's talking about super hyperinflation, which is all going to lead to the famine.
Yep. And on top of inflation, we got a shortage. Yeah. Now, both of them combined is a recipe for disaster. Now, you can have hyperinflation, but see, the thing is supply and demand. When the supply is low, but the demand is high, then people are going to lose their mind. So Esau, the Lord is perfectly on time with this whole catastrophe that's going on. The way Esau got things set up, everything is just by this summer we'll see. And now if we do got blackouts, the niggas gonna be up in people's house. That's in the second there's robbing with the sword and not regarding one another. Forget about it, man. Especially when it gets hot. The nigga don't got his mind right when it's hot, but
nigga's mind right when it's cold.
Yeah, his mind ain't right, period.
Nigga's mind ain't right, period.
Take spring, summer, or fall.
Right, all season niggas.
That's why we're truly blessed we have this truth, man.
Right.
You got some crazy niggas out there.
Thank God for the attention.
Thank God for this truth.
Thank God for keep them niggas locked down.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
You got a question?
Only a nigga would make a song about D-Block.
Yeah.
And that's how the scripture said, victuals shall be sold good cheap. Oh, you about to get it? Okay, got it. Everything's, it's like, it looks like it's cheap now, but eventually in the time of hyperinflation,
it is cheap now.
It's cheap now, but when everything gets hyperinflation, you're gonna need more dollars to buy the same thing.
Right.
Second Ezra 16 and 21. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth that they shall think themselves to be in good case.
Now people are starting to realize, like you said, now they're starting to realize something's wrong in society.
You know what that's called? Government is called price control. When the government is going to force you, you got to sell it for this price.
Right.
So you're not going to get the same thing. But they said, look, I got to give you less raw, so you can get your shit. You know?
Right.
Same price.
Inflation, deflation.
Right.
Inflation, deflation.
Right. And then I believe there's another one, shrinkflation, where the quantity or quality decreases, but the price remains the same or go up. Like the bag of chips. Back when I was young, you got a whole bag of chips.
A bag, I remember when I was a kid, $5 to get you a big bag of chips. Now
Yeah.
it's going to cost you $2-3.
Yeah.
And we're mostly airing it though.
Yeah, and you only got about that much chips in that box.
Which is poison any goddamn way.
Who the hell ate chips?
Don't be eating no chips, man.
Why potato chips, you know the green ones? You see the green one, you eat it, you know that's mold.
Oh yeah?
You said that's the green one. That's their mold.
Wow, man.
We said that to him as kids.
Wow.
It's a little salty.
In the late 80s and the 90s, you had the penny candy stores.
Yeah, penny candy store, yep. We used to get the squirrel nuts and the Mary Janes, the penny, the big bowl gum. I don't know if y'all remember those.
The Laffy Taffy, the big Laffy Taffy. The UFOs. It's actually UFOs with candy in it.
Oh yeah.
Sound laters.
James. James 5:1. Go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl, for your miseries shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments are moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered. Now this is what you brothers are going into, all right? Because we know that gold and silver doesn't oxidize, it doesn't rust, all right? What's it going into? It's talking about the so-called white man's currency. That is devalued over time, you know?
Yeah.
And it's, you know, like if we were back in 1970, you got $50,000. If I had $50,000, I bought a home, and fast forward now, my value of money was preserved in this home, but that $50,000 cash is worth far less now than it was a few years ago.
That same house I was back in 1934, that was $50,000, is like $2 million now.
Right.
You used to be able to buy a new car for $2,000.
Yeah, so what happened?
New car.
Yeah, so what happened? Is it the house was that much better? No, is it the value of the money?
And that fractional reserve banking helped do that too.
Oh, yeah.
Where you go into a bank and deposit $1,000 and they loan out $20,000 because they only required to keep 10% in reserve.
Yeah, they create money out of thin air.
Yeah.
Charge interest.
And that's another reason why Esau raises interest rates, because if today a house for $100,000 and then you got inflation 10 years down the line, that house is going to, the value, the paper ain't gonna mean shit. So in other words, the lender is gonna be the one that's gonna take a hit during the inflation. So when you raise the interest rate, it's to accommodate for all that loss of paper money over time. So he gonna raise a high interest rate. So over the course of what, 10 years, he raking in more money because he know in 10 years the money's gonna devalue. So it kind of break even.
Yeah,
you know?
Plus they're producing money.
Yeah.
Hyperinflation.
That's right. Look, yeah, exactly.
And they know that they're gonna get money for that house, and eventually the owner is gonna more than likely default on the house.
Exactly.
And they're gonna have what they paid for it already, plus take the house and sell it to somebody else.
So they win either way.
Yeah. It's a rigged game.
Yeah, devil.
Well, he's the devil. That's what he does.
Yeah, bro, finish up, yo.
2 Ezra 16:21, it says, Behold, Israel shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case, and even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion.
Right, so even then, evils is gonna grow upon the earth. Evils ain't never stopped, man. Anybody ever told you things wasn't happening 10 years ago, which is it's happening more now, but things is always happening. We just had to been watching. That's why the Lord said,
somebody do me a favor, look up the word price control. Price control.
Done. Yeah, that's why Isaiah 62 say the Lord has set up watchmen that would not hold their peace day nor night. So from the apostles, elder bishops, and brothers on down, we've been doing all these years. You know, videos constantly been being pumped for these days and times we're living in right now. This ain't come out of nowhere. This was always a buildup. Like Nate made the statement, or Bishop Nathaniel said, he said Jacob Trouble wasn't happening back then. Yeah, all right.
First of all, he didn't know what to look for.
Yeah. So like,
call that nigga Nate.
Talking about nothing wasn't happening back then. All kind of legislation was being passed. He didn't know what to look for.
He was looking for an excuse. See, I said, slide in the pocket Israelite.
Shit always been happening.
Like he always was teaching the Cornelius thing. Like he always was teaching the Jacob's Trouble thing. And pretty soon it's like he was always teaching the MOTV.
Oh, the MO, I already knew it. I knew that. I taught the hard.
It's coming. It's coming.
Price control.
Go ahead, price control.
All right, price control. A government regulation establishing a maximum price to be charged from specified goods and services, especially during periods of war or inflation.
A couple of brothers put it on the comment board too.
So read that again and tell me what it means.
All right, price control. A government regulation establishing a maximum price to be charged for specified goods and services, especially during periods of war or inflation.
What time we living in a time of war and inflation? Biden said the reason why your gas prices are up because of the Russians, right? Things are really going up because of inflation, which is hyperinflation. It doesn't slow down. So explain to me on a hood level what's price control. Somebody explain it to me. He just read it to you. Explain it to me on a hood level.
Pretty much they're gonna put a cat.
I ain't asked you. I
Fried chicken costs too much.
Okay, so give me an example.
They charge you too high for fried chicken.
Okay, okay, good. So now, what does that mean? If a bucket of chicken is $20 and it goes up to $40, what does the government do? But what do they do? They say, no, you got to go back down to $20. But meanwhile, the chicken's going up, the flour's going up, you know? The oil's going up, the rent's going up, the electricity's going up, everything's going up. So you have no choice but to double it. If everything goes up and it's doubled, you have no choice but to double it. So the government's going to come in and say, nope, $20 a bucket. So what are you going to get? You're going to get all fucked up pieces of chicken, man.
A bunch of bats.
You might see some rats up in this
wing tips.
You know?
That'll run the chicken store owner out of business because he's still spending.
If he wants to stay in business, he has to give you rats. You know?
Yeah,
brother, sometimes eating that Chinese food, you know, certain ghetto Chinese restaurants, You get the chicken fried rice, but the chicken is not. There's something funny about that. But you eat it and you kind of you even be saying, yeah, that's bad. That's bad. You be like, I want to throw this shit away, but then I'm hungry. But then you say, then the demon says in your mind, but that tastes pretty good.
He's messing.
I always tell a story that there was a Chinese store in Irvington that they got inspected and they got busted for serving rats. But the inspector went in the basement. There were crates, rats cut like chicken. You can't tell.
I've been eating rats.
You know, but they were
rat ain't all that bad, brother. It's something like a layer of fat on the chicken. It ain't real chicken. It's like some of the piece of chicken look like S's. When you ever see a chicken look like an S?
That's snake.
Yeah, it might be snake.
That whole you just mentioned the price regulation. That's what OPEC does. They want that control the oil. Those particular groups of nation, they regulate the price of oil. And if you look it up, oil is not something that is scarce. You know, that dude, I forgot which Rockefeller started it, but he said that oil is a fossil fuel. Yeah, when he said oil is related to fossils, then they started saying, okay, now it's a scarce commodity, but that's bullshit. The earth produces oil in abundance. The so-called white man, like the apostle said, introduces all the price regulation.
That's why Biden, he was going to go to Saudi Arabia. What he said, he called them a bunch of, what did he call them? He insulted them because of the guy that got chopped up. Basically, he's going over there to have them bring the prices, produce more oil. Basically, he's going over there with a cup. Just like with the Russian war, he said he's going down to Venezuela because you know what they did with Venezuela? That's what fucked Venezuela up. They said, we ain't buying your oil. We bring the prices down and cut you out the market. So now he's coming with the cup to Venezuela. So all these nations see that. They see that America's about playing games, man. They're fair weather friends. So the whole Beckham too.
Also, just to back you up to show that it's manipulation. A few years ago, we did a lesson on oil. America was ranked #1 exporter. Did a lesson today, now it's #4. So they could determine it. They're not scarce on oil. It's all like, manufactured bullshit.
America has oil, but through policy, American policy, the pipe. What's that pipeline? It's a pipeline. It's the name of the pipeline.
Oh yeah.
Keystone Pipeline, they cut it. America got oil. They got reserves. So it's a big game to kill, to destroy the people. Jane 5, right? They're gonna figure out their fraud, that their money ain't worth shit, because they ain't real money. We're gonna do this quick and we're gonna close.
In 1970, they went to the Prime Minister of Nigeria and told him to increase the price of the oil. So they set that. They set that up.
When President Biden became president, what's the first thing he did? All the workers that had the pipeline jobs, he fired them. He got rid of fracking. Got rid of fracking.
And so Americans are starting to wake up, man. Now, why you think they're doing what they're doing in Sri Lanka? Just to see what the people, how they're going to react. They're going to go for the government. So they know it's coming over here. That's why they're going to take the guns. So they can bring in the troops. This place is going to be a powder keg, man.
Powder keg.
Go ahead, Al.
Proverbs 20, verse 23. Diverse weights are an abomination unto the Lord, and a false balance is not good.
Go ahead.
May 22nd, remember they had a meeting about the UN nations coming in. Now, mind you, the next week after that, all of a sudden you had gun shootings. So what they're doing, they're getting the arms prepared, but like you said before, the soldiers though, they want reassurance they're not gonna get shot. Just try to take away the guns. So it's all being set up,
Oh, and now they putting trackers on the bullets, so they can track wherever, basically where the bullets came from, or wherever they bought the bullets from.
That's a lot. I'm sorry.
After this, we out.
He said,
do what, brother?
I'm gonna post the show tonight. Did it before camp, but the Bilderberg were meeting. Bilderberg group.
Oh yeah. They didn't mention it until the last minute.
Yeah. I saw something.
I was watching Jason Berman. They said they didn't mention it till the last minute, man.
Yeah. So
but they don't want nobody to rush them, Anyway, we're gonna close up. We out of here. The brother did a good job. Yep. What was that calling me out here?
Boy, they shot you. Amadio. Garab. Yadam Bata, dismiss.
Shalom.
Right.
Okay. Hey.